Hey everybody, how's it going? Coach Jason with Arm Pitching Development. And tonight we are talking about 3 pieces to your mechanics to help you get better this off season. So to get right into it, number 1 is work on your handbrake to separation, okay? And what do I mean by that? When you're braking your hands, a lot of times, especially in younger guys, I see the tendency to kind of rip out and open up here just a little further than maybe what they should be doing. What we don't see a lot of is the natural tendency to brake with your thumbs down and then elevate through the elbows. So to do this, what you really need to do is spend time practicing your handbrake into shoulder separation here. So essentially, you would come down, brake somewhere just off of your chest into your abdominal region line, brake down, and then work it back up here, and then reset and keep working it back through. And really, you want to try to get pretty much as fast as possible with it and as comfortable with it. Remember that timing and rhythm matter to your overall pitching mechanics, and being in the right sequence of order of events is going to be extremely helpful for you as a baseball pitcher. So when you're training this, just work on thumbs down, elbows up, thumbs down, elbows up, in a pretty natural order of it. If you feel like you're braking and you're dropping your elbow down and in, just know that that's probably going to come back to bite you in the long run. So work to get up in your elbows a little bit heavier up here and get on top of the baseball a little bit better. So that's pitching tip number 1 to work on this off season. Okay, so pitching tip number 2 to work on this off season is going to be the hips drive to home. We see a lot of guys that come out and they open rotation here early, or they're coming up with a really tall balance set here and not really working in and driving out to home plate with their back hip or their front hip. So what you want to do is actually work more in a seated position, and this goes in line with your handbrake here. So once you're coming off your load, you're working inside with your hips here, more of an inward angle to try to get your back pocket going in towards home plate when you're going to deliver the pitch. With that, what I'd like you to notice is my knees almost come in together as I'm driving outward towards home plate. This is a movement that doesn't really stop. If I was training a new kid that was maybe 8, 9, or 10, or 11 that didn't know anything about pitching at all whatsoever, I would totally be working on just the balance point of things. If you feel like you have a pretty good semblance of order on how to pitch and you have pretty good balance, then this is something that you're really going to want to work on, because when we talk about energy transfer to home plate, this is the build-up piece, okay, coming off the back end. Again, we're going to come up, in, hit the back hip, hit the back pocket here, drive it inward, and then back outward. And then work on your timing with your handbrake as well as you're doing this. Okay. One thing to note, just a side note on that, on the landing step, I like to get right around a 45-degree angle to keep me just a little bit better in line and a little more athletic position to make the pitch. I always felt like when I opened my front hip too much, then I was leaking my energy out of my back side a little early there. So by closing up just a little bit, now I'm creating more leverage to pitch down on top of the ball. So pitching tip number 2, work on your hip drive to home plate. I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit of a drill you can work on. I saw this the other day. I thought it was a pretty neat idea. So what I have here is a total bar. It's a arm conditioning tool. But what you can do is throw it into a wall here, if you have one of these, and just kind of keep it in center line with your chest here at the end point. And then as you're working into this, just try to think that you're bowing it upward and sink your hip into the wall as you're going through this exercise here. But that'll help you start your lead out and start generating a little more momentum to home plate. And you'll really see some good gains from that if you'll work on the backside driving out towards home plate. All right, pitching tip number 3 to work on this off season in your pitching mechanics is going to be the front leg brace, or the lead leg brace, when you go to your landing step. Okay, as you're driving out, you've worked on your hand separation, you worked on your hip drive. Now I want you to work on creating leverage from the front side. Okay, and then what we're going to do is essentially try to lock in when we get through rotation of the hips here, extension out front with your hand placement over the front leg, is bring this front leg back up to a closed spot here and then pull down, creating a little more leverage through on your pitch. You're going to throw a little bit harder by really working on top and getting into it just a little bit further there. So how do we work on this a little bit? Really, I like to think about it as working uphill first. So we're working uphill up into our front side and then bracing to pull down. So what I like to do is, either, if you don't have anything at home, maybe you just have some little lip or something, get on top of this and just start working the feel of getting over your front leg just a little bit deeper. Also, you can do is a single leg deadlift or RDL position here, and then work on your handbrake timing here, working up and then over to finish. This is a great drill, not just for balance, but also for feeling extension and release over your front leg. So again, you're here, just kind of balance with it, come out, break it through, and extend over, and then you can just repeat that back up and over. It's a fantastic drill for training, getting over the front leg. As well as that, you can get on the mound and start working uphill from the mound side too. So if you have a pitching mound, you can go into rockers and then just work up an extension here. And you'll really start to feel different, guys, if you'll actually work on this stuff in your pitching mechanics. Get in front of a mirror, start dry running a lot, and start feeling out what you guys want to look like. Pushing past any limitations and expanding what you believe is possible for yourselves. So remember, it's one thing for me to give you guys tips out there and how to build this stuff up, but you guys actually have to go out there and execute this stuff and to get any better. I hope you enjoyed the video. For more pitching tips, drills, exercises, and workouts, hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, and until I shoot the next video, I'll see you guys next time.